The latest generation streaming box. Let's check this out. Dave Taylor here with my little Vizio TV, and Vizio, like so many television makers, have their own built-in operating system which gives you access to a fair number of streaming channels. But this gives us a whole nother level of access. This is the vSeeBox V5 Pro. So this is their 5th generation device. They have gone through a lot of evolution since they first introduced their product about, 3 years ago. And this one is a live TV streaming box. In the industry jargon, they call it an OTT IPTV, and OTT stands for no reason I can understand, over the top. It means that you can stream directly from the internet. You don't need a cable, you don't need an antenna. Just as long as you have a good internet connection, this thing will interface between your internet and your television and give you a ton of features. And IPTV is IP television or internet protocol. So the unit runs Android 12. It's a quad-core ARM processor with 4 gig of RAM, 32 gig of storage, and an external USB you can plug in, it's a separate purchase, up to 2 terabytes for additional storage or an archive of movies and TV shows that you really like. So there's more to talk about this, but I wanted to go through the whole unboxing and setup experience. So I have my unboxing tool. Be careful if you try this at home. And it's easy enough. Just obviously cut through the plastic. I'm sure we've all done this plenty of times. And we'll go ahead and see what's in the box. One thing right off the bat is I like that they have little tiny cutouts for your fingers. It's a tiny, simple little feature that makes a world of difference when you're unboxing things. So props to them for that. And then the main unit, this is actually surprisingly small. You can see that it's about 4 inches around and maybe an inch thick. And then the ports on it, let's see, it is a V5 Pro 8K ultra high definition is what it says on the front. And on the side there is a space for a micro SD card, also known as a thin film or TF card. And there's 2 USB-A ports. And on the back there is Ethernet and audiovisual out and optical out and HDMI out and source for your power. And of course, there's also a little tiny antenna option. There's gonna be a lot more in this box. So let's see what else we have. So we have a power supply. That's pretty straightforward. And then on the other side of this, we have, see, it's underneath. Oh, there's lots of stuff under here. So there's this 8K HDMI cable, and I can just pop the ends off because we won't need them. And then there is a tiny antenna, so you can put this on, and that gives you access to some local broadcast channels. And then we have a very nice big remote control. There's a lot of options here with, let me open this up, shortcut buttons for YouTube, Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, and Disney on the bottom. Here's a close-up, put it sideways so you can see things bigger. But you can see on the top there's input options, and then there's numbers so you can go straight to a favorite channel. There's a very typical round navigation button and a home button, and there's a microphone button because it allows voice input, which is fantastic, and volume and channel. And then there looks like those 4 colored buttons are probably user assignable for favorite channels. And then those 4 shortcuts for YouTube, Netflix, Prime Video, and Disney. Now, one thing that I did not plan ahead with is that I need 2 AAA batteries, and I'm going to also need to figure out how to open it. I bet it goes like this. Well, I'll put batteries in a moment. We'll get there. But in the box is also instructions. So that's everything that comes in the box, and that's pretty darn nice. So I'm going to go ahead and put this box over here to get it out of the way, and let's maybe move the Vizio a little bit. So rather than use the instructions, I'm just going to plug the darn thing in. So let's just see what happens. So we need to give this power. So I just happen to have a power cord in the back here. And so now we have that, and typically setup is going to take about 5 or 10 minutes. So probably I will be skipping past a couple of the more unexciting parts, but let's get there and see what happens. So let's see. Here's my power, and we'll plug it in, and then I'll use the HDMI to connect it to my television, and then I'll have to actually switch the input on my Vizio so we can actually see what the device is sharing with us. So let's get this stretched out, and I will plug this into the HDMI and then plug it into my television. Let's see, I think we want this one, HDMI 1. And then while we're at it, why not, let's go ahead and add that antenna. So I'll screw that on and then just tilt it up, and we will hope that that actually is meaningful. So now let me switch things around so you can see what's on the screen better. And I'll also take advantage of this moment to add those AAA batteries to the remote control. So I'll be right back. All right, batteries are in the remote, and we're ready to switch inputs to HDMI 1. So let's just go to V5 Pro. How about that? The TV's already identified the device. And now we need to pair the remote control with the unit. So I'm going to hold volume down and OK at the same time. There we go. Now the remote control set up. I'm going to pick English USA. And we'll go next, and I'll take this, but notice that these are all the resolution options. That's because my television that I'm using isn't actually a 4K unit. They don't make 4K units this small. So when you plug it into a higher resolution television, you'll also get a higher resolution option here. And let's see, scale 95%. We want to make sure that those little corner white angles are all visible, and that all looks good. So we'll keep moving. And we are in, oh boy, this is going to take a while for me to find where I am, because we're in GMT +5. Or actually, are we -5? I think I'm going in the wrong direction. Let's do -5. No, -6. Go Mountain Daylight Time. Okay, we're good there. Now I'm going to use Wi-Fi. So I'll have to set it up for Wi-Fi, and I'll come right back once I've logged in. Let's see if we'll connect to the wireless network. It is Wi-Fi 6 compatible, which is good because I have a Wi-Fi 6E mesh network, and it looks like it worked with it. And there's a disclaimer, and basically they're saying that you use this the way you want. They are simply providing you the hardware. I can agree with that. Setting complete, okay. And what happens next? And here we go, here's the home screen. So now you can see that there are pre-installed common and popular streaming options. We'll get back to those. And then there are some other options you can use, including AirScreen, which I believe is for AirPlay. Let's see. So this would be how you would use with, okay, so AirPlay, Chromecast, Miracast, DLNA, all of those. That's really cool. But I'm going to actually press the home button on the remote to get back here. And then the service they have is called Heat Ultra, and that offers over 1,300 live channels, and it gives you HD and 4K video on demand content, a program guide, and 7-day playback. So let's see, we have Heat Live, we have Heat Video on Demand, and we have Heat Ultra. So let's do Heat Ultra, and it looks like that might need to be installed. Looks like we're in the installation process and it's receiving initial data. And notice that the little vSeeBox V5 Pro itself is showing me the current time, and there's a tiny blue light that indicates that it is successfully working, which is great. So now let's see. So it's Ultra. So let's see what movies there are. And so it shows me content from different services. That doesn't mean I have access to them, of course, but some of them are actually free. So like Pluto TV is free. So let's choose this, and then I'll use, and again, I'm just using the directional arrows on the remote, and let's choose action genre, and let's say last year's movies. And I have to admit I have not heard of any of these, but let's choose Hua Mulan. And now I'm going to press play. And let's see if it works. And I actually have my TV muted, so let's unmute it. And that's a beautiful picture, and it was mighty easy to get here. So now, let's go back. And that was movies. Let's go to TV series and see what's on there. And again, we have all these options. Let's just choose Peacock and go to well, not a big fan of most of these series, but we'll pick Night Court. And let's just see. So this is season 3, and I'll pick this episode. And I'm unclear whether it will want me to log in. Apparently it doesn't. How cool is that? Great. Well, this looks genuinely not enjoyable. Sorry, that's my tastes. So now the question would be, what do we have for live streaming? And that, let's see, speed test. And I don't understand what this is on the right, so let's choose it. And it looks like that is just a show that they're highlighting. So let's go back out of video on demand. And so that's that. So let's go to Heat Live. And again, it'll probably need to do a quick install. And this only happens the first time you use one of these. And allow Heat Live to access photos, media, and files on your device. I'll say don't allow for now. Oh, I see. So I push down and it changes what channel I'm on. But if I choose OK, then I can get a list of all channels. And I'm going to actually mute this because I don't have rebroadcast rights. So that'll take care of that. And now let's see. So here's all the different program options or channel options. And let's see. AMC West, American Movie Classics. And well, it looks like I actually have this channel, which is interesting because I don't subscribe to it. So I think part of what vSeeBox is offering, and this is why they have that disclaimer, is that they might have reverse engineered some of these streaming channels so that you have access to content that you otherwise wouldn't. So that's pretty interesting. So there's system settings, launcher settings, software update, always a good thing to do. And let's look at system info. So not a lot of exciting information there, but this looks pretty slick. And I will go, let's just go into YouTube and try that option. And this is familiar to everyone, I'm sure. And I'm not going to sign in. I'm just going to go to home. Well, maybe it insists that I do that. Let's go to music. So looks like I can just ignore the sign in part and I can just step through and we can find, sure, let's try Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And again, I do have this muted, so let me unmute for a second. And of course we have ads. And it's all absolutely beautiful, and you can see there's zero lag with any of this streaming, which is great. I've remuted it until the ad's over. I'm not a big fan of advertising, and I know I have ads on my channel. So let's just get to the actual video. And okay, so That works. Apparently, I have actually chosen a video that's not a video, it's just a still image, which is actually kind of funny. But you can see that there's an enormous amount of flexibility. And since I didn't have to sign in to TCM, let's just see if I have to sign in to Disney. I would assume I do, but let's see what happens. Sorry, Disney Plus, not Disney. So here I can sign up or sign into my existing account and then access it through this set-top box. But let's go back to home. And that's all the key features. Let me jump back on camera and give you a little bit more on the specs. I have to admit, I'm really impressed. That was easy to set up. It didn't require me entering a credit card or anything, and it was pretty darn easy to navigate as a complete newbie and figure out what was where. With a little bit of practice, maybe an hour of just laying on the couch and pushing different buttons to see what happens, I would become an absolute pro and be able to jump to all my favorite channels and do some of that programming on the remote that might be an option. I don't know, I haven't tried it yet. But let me tell you a little bit more about the box itself. So, as I said, it's a quad-core ARM processor with 4 gig of RAM, 32 gig of onboard storage, so those shows I was watching I could have recorded. How cool is that? And there's those USBs on the side. They're both USB-A, but I can plug in up to 2 terabytes of additional storage, so I could just pick a movie channel, for example, and just record, and then go to that DVR feature and watch it anytime I want. It decodes H.264 at 10-bit HDR, so as you saw, every single image I watched was crystal clear. It looked beautiful. There was zero buffering. Very impressive, actually. It can do 6K at 60 frames per second, or if I had a more capable television, 4K Ultra HDR, Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.0, so it does do Bluetooth, which should allow you to hook up a pair of Bluetooth headphones and then watch and listen to content without bothering anyone else. This is particularly useful if you like to watch shows late at night and not bother anyone else in the house. Big win with Bluetooth. And then finally, we also saw that Heat Ultra and the Heat Live and the Heat Video on Demand services, which are a way to consolidate all of the many live channels that they have. And as you saw, a lot of video on demand content, including what looks like it's from a lot of pay channels, some of which required me to log in, like I couldn't get to Disney Plus, but some of which, like AMC, was available. So that's pretty slick. Now, disclaimer, I am not endorsing you not paying for a subscription service if it's something that requires a subscription, but it's up to you to decide how you would want to proceed. You could simply skip those channels, or you can watch everything and just sort of keep moving forward and don't worry about it that much. That's up to you. That's your choice. And so, some people have said they do have some buffering. In that case, I will say that the vSeeBox, or maybe it's the Heat Ultra service, whatever it is, they have multiple servers around the world, and you can simply go into settings and try a different server, and that should get rid of your buffering. And that's everything. I think this is a keeper. This is something I'm going to leave plugged into my TV because it gives me so many more options, and it's so much more straightforward in a lot of ways than the Vizio operating system is. So that's what I got. I really would encourage you to check it out and look at the options out there for over-the-top IPTV or OTT IPTV. Again, I don't know where those acronyms come from. But this is one that's definitely on the top of the list right now, and it's fast and it's powerful and has a lot of capabilities. And as you saw, it's pretty darn easy to get started. So just don't feel at all intimidated, and it comes with this great remote with a ton of features. So, one to check out. I am going to ask you to subscribe to my channel. Click or tap on that subscribe button, and then go ahead and hit that bell icon for notifications of my new content. As you can tell, I'm very honest, I'm very straightforward, I don't play any tricks. I'm just going to tell you the good and the bad of the devices that I check out and I get my hands on a lot. Give me a thumbs up if you found this of value. Always appreciate that. Excellent. Now, this, let me just hold it up. This is the vSeeBox V5 Pro live TV streaming box, and it is $339 at vSeeBoxTV.co. And that might sound a little spendy, but this is something where you'll be able to use this for years, and it's entirely possible that you won't need to subscribe to any other services because this will give you so many options, including a ton of video on demand. So that's what I got. I think I'm going to go back and hunt through the channels to try to find something I want to watch, which means I'll catch you in my next video.